Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cybersecurity Recruiter podcast. Today, I'm joined by Carlton Miller. How you doing, mate?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
Good, mate. Good. For everyone listening, we had a few technical issues last time, so this is like the take two. So I don't want to put us under any pressure, buddy, but we should be pretty good because this is the second one we've done.
Hope so. I'm thinking that connection's good today, so I'm hoping everything goes well and smoothly.
Yeah, it's good. Do you know what, though? I don't know whether it is an age thing. We were just talking for everyone listening that it was 6 months ago since we did this the first time. But if you'd have told me it was 12 weeks ago, I'd have believed you. Do you know what I mean? It just goes so quick, mate, doesn't it?
I know, it is scary. I can't believe we're towards the end of 2025, and I was on parental leave for 4 months, and man, that flew by. Can't believe it.
Yeah, I think what it is, like when you're really young, like say 6 months or a year as a percentage of your life is quite a bit. I remember those like summer holidays at school. They were like, I don't know what they are in the US, but in the UK, they were like 6 weeks. We didn't have any schooling for 6 weeks. And that 6 weeks seemed to go on forever. It was phenomenal. But maybe it was because it was a shorter percentage of my life when I was 12 years old. I don't know.
The summer breaks were amazing. We usually had about 8 weeks, and man, those were the best times, and sports with friends and everything. It was great.
Yeah, cool, mate. Wicked. I'm just going to do an intro for you for the folks that don't know. If I get anything wrong, feel free to correct me, my friend. But been in the recruitment game for a while. You was a technical recruiter going as far back as 2014. And then you held a position at Scope Group. And you started to build up your cybersecurity knowledge there, as well as some more technical recruitment. That was around 2015, 2016. Also spent some time at Capital One as a technical recruiter, and then again as a cybersecurity technical recruiter at Research Innovations Incorporated. And you are now the head of talent for Trailer Bits, and you've been in that position over 3.5 years, mate.
Yeah, coming up on 4 years. It's been an amazing opportunity for myself. I somewhat fell into recruiting coming out of university, graduated with my sociology degree at UMass Amherst, and then had a family friend that said I would be a good recruiter. So I got my first kind of stint as a technical recruiter, more on the manufacturing side, mechanical, electrical, quality engineers, more contract-based, hourly-based type placement. And then chased a girl down to DC who ended up being my wife and the mother of my 3 beautiful children. And I got the job at Scope Group, which is a staffing company, and supported a number of different clients. But one of the best clients that I supported was a company called Veris Group, which at the time was a cybersecurity consulting firm specializing in GRC, so governance, risk, and compliance when it comes to a lot of FedRAMP work. So recruited for Veris Group. They got bought by Coalfire. Was very successful in recruiting for Group and Coalfire. And then that led to Capital One, and Capital One was amazing. And that was more on the defensive side. So building out their security operations center, red team, threat intel, did that until they got hacked, and which was extremely unfortunate. I loved it there, but got approached with the opportunity to do more offensive security recruiting for a company called Research Innovations, which is a lot more mission critical type of offensive security when it comes to vulnerability research and cyber network operations and tooling, and was there for almost 3 years. And then Trailer Bits came about, and I was a huge fan of Trailer Bits. I've been following them for years, ever since they competed in the DARPA Cyber Grand Challenge, new update. And when I got approached, I was like, yeah, I'm all in. So got the offer, came aboard. Around that time, I think we're probably around 80 or so people. Right now, we're at like 125, 130. So a good amount of growth in 3 years. It's been all organic growth. We have no outside funding or anything like that. And I think we're, as hopefully people know, that Trailer Bits has a really strong impact in the open source community, Web3 community, and now AI as well.
Yeah, it does, mate. Because like even before, way before we met, like you guys and girls were putting out phenomenal Trailer Bits.
It's amazing.
Phenomenal stuff for years. Because I can remember when I first, and this is like early Web3 days when I first started recruiting for Handbook. This is how early it was. We were just getting pen tests, and they were then being flipped into smart contract auditors and taught how to audit smart contracts coming from a pen test, because there was no such thing as like a smart contract auditor back then, because it was all so new. And some of the content, I used to point everyone towards your content, basically, because it was like the best stuff out there. Yeah, no, I'd heard about you.
Yeah, we did the same thing. Jocelyn, who was the former engineering director for our blockchain team, he didn't come from Web3 or anything like that. We dedicated time and resources for our researchers to learn the space and kind of get familiar with the architecture and the technology as a whole. And yeah, it made investment worth it, because we've obviously created a lot of great open source tools, whether that's Slither or Kitna, Medusa. We published a lot of great research. Most of our reports are somewhat public. Obviously, we have the private stuff, but I think we do a great job of sharing our knowledge of what we're seeing in the space and building tools and publishing research that helps prevent these common attacks and bugs that are being discovered so often.
Yeah, I bet that's the reason you've been able to grow so nicely without any outside investment as well, because the reputation and the foundation of the company's strong.
Yeah. I think everyone's extremely passionate about their work here. I don't think anyone really sees it as a job, which is a very unique place to be. I've never been at a place quite like Trail of Bits where everything is so open and collaborative. We're in a remote organization. 35% of the company is international, but we live in this open Slack world where we share ideas. I'm actually working on a tool right now that hopefully will be open source at some point later this year, but it's a tool that is somewhat a threat detection Chrome extension for detecting fake applicants in your ATS. So I'm just going through some testing right now. It's really exciting, but myself as like head of talent, it's always somewhat scary to go out and try to do some engineering and building and try to solve a problem in the security sector. And being part of a company like Trail of Bits where, no idea is a dumb idea. Let's talk about it. Let's see if it's going to actually solve a potential problem. What impact does this have in the community? It's been very rewarding for myself, and I've seen a lot of growth in myself as a professional over the past 3.5 years. So it's a really great place to your intellectual curiosity and to develop yourself in a way that I think some of the larger companies don't have the ability to do, right? Because when I was at Capital One, hack happened. At the end of the day, I'm just a number. Here, you're given the opportunity to not just do your job as just find talent, Carter. Now I'm going to help build tools. I do some BD work here as well. There's some internal projects that I'm also working on. I would not get that exposure anywhere else. And I truly believe that.
Yeah. Good for your stimulation levels, good for your own self-development. And I like it. That Chrome extension to track fake applicants, that sounds, can you tell us more, or is it a little bit under?
As a cybersecurity organization, we're being targeted by potential threat actors to get inside our organization. And you're seeing a lot of companies going through like the deep fakes, and there's companies out there trying to solve that and building out tools to hook up to Zoom or Google Meets or whatever to do fake applicant detection, but no one's really doing it on the resume side. And obviously there's indicators based on like phone numbers and email domains and all these things. And there's open source information that we've been pulling. And I'm hoping that with testing, when running the tool, it's accurately going to predict the right score of this person's potentially as a threat actor, and here's why. And it gives the ratings and the reasons why. So it's work. Just the other day, I had a call with a candidate that was a fake candidate, fake LinkedIn profile. It's been documented, everything like that. But we are being targeted, and we are trying to provide a way to protect organizations from hiring these individuals. It's a real thing. And especially with the use of AI and resume construction, you're going to see a lot more bad actors trying to infiltrate these organizations, and we have to get at the forefront of stopping that. Great way to give back to the community, and I'm very passionate about cybersecurity. Having this idea and being able to build something, I think is really cool.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. It's such a real thing. Like, it happened all of a sudden because one of my clients reached out. She was like, Tom, like, we're getting like loads of fake candidates. Is it just us, or is like all your other clients getting this? And I was like, honestly, I think it's just you, because no one else has mentioned it. And then literally within about a week, I'd had about 4 or 5 other clients all either said the same thing in passing conversation or an asked them, and I had to ring them back and be like, yeah, no, sorry. It's not just you, it's everyone. It's so prevalent now. It's finding. I've had a few calls where I've been like on the call, and there's been a few things where I think they're reading stuff, or it just doesn't seem quite right, or like they've told me they're in the US and I just didn't believe they were in the US. There's a certain amount we can do as recruiters when we're doing the manuals. Having a tool like that would be definitely, especially if you're getting a lot, it'd be helpful.
Yeah, it would be very beneficial. Yeah, so I'm excited. We'll see what happens over the next few weeks, and hopefully we can release something.
Cool. You talked about as well at the minute, I feel like with smaller companies, like you mentioned, like at the minute, like you're pretty agile, like you can do different things and no ideas are stupid ideas. I feel like companies like Trail of Bits and other companies like About Yourselves, I feel like it's a really good time because AI and technology is moving so fast. Like it sounds like you're in a position where you can jump on stuff and you're pretty agile and nimble and you can do it. Whereas the big, larger firms just can't move that quick. There's too much bureaucracy. So it's probably...
Yeah, a lot more red tape.
Yeah, it's a nice time for smaller companies because things are moving so quick.
Absolutely. And I also agree that a big part of being so agile is that I wrote a blog about AI not replacing me about a year ago. I think it's coming up on a year. And in that blog, I pretty much stated that I conducted a call with a candidate. That conversation led to us meeting at a conference, grabbing coffee, talking about all things in life, right? And what I was stating was AI can essentially mirror that call. And I still believe that. But over the past year, I've looked at AI from a different lens where I think AI is a strong component of, if you have an idea now, you can build it. It levels the playing field in that regard. AI gives people the ability to work more efficiently. In our environment, we're very Claude focused. Like, we're a Claude shop. I love Claude code. I am in it every day. I have different frameworks and structures for job description creation. I have internal workflows within recruiting. I use Circleback for our interviews, so it accurately documents the call, and I can, reference that material later as we go through the hiring process and feedback to decide whether or not we're going to hire this individual. So I've become a huge component that I believe AI levels the playing field and gives everyone the ability to become more effective and efficient in their daily roles, as well as being able to build cool things that they wouldn't have the ability to build without it. Now, I'm not an engineer, but having ideas and saying, does this solve a problem? And seeing if you can create an MVP of it, you can do that. And it's really cool. So I'm curious to see where the advancement of AIML goes. I think on the security side, there's obviously improvement, and you'll continue to see that. And being able to, if you're going to build a specific product that, this certain AI tool that you have, it's going to be able to build it securely. But yeah, I really believe it makes people more effective and eliminates a lot of time from a lot of these manual tasks that I found myself doing over the years that I don't really have to do anymore.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. You're right as well about the AI not replacing us. It's so true, because I think people are craving that human touch more than ever. I'll give you an example, because I was like, when you're in, for everyone listening, we have recruiter inboxes, a LinkedIn recruiter inbox, and we have a normal LinkedIn inbox. We have two inboxes when you've got a LinkedIn recruiter license. And one candidate reached out to me, and he replied to me on both inboxes. Do you know what I mean, Carter? When you're
Yes, I know exactly what. So if you're not able to see it on your actual LinkedIn profile, you have to go to LinkedIn Recruiter to see that message.
Yeah, and I just quickly, because he'd replied on both, I literally copy and pasted the message I wrote back to him across. And he wrote back, he's like, look, I don't want to do this anymore, Tom. And I was like, well, what's wrong anyway? I got off LinkedIn and got on the phone to this particular chap. And he was like, look, I'm so sorry. I thought you had a robot on your profile and it wasn't you. And I'm dealing with AI all day and I'm just craving that human touch. I'm getting so frustrated with automations. So it's true. I think in some ways, mate, from a recruiter standpoint, I think AI is actually making what we do more valuable. I really do.
Absolutely. Yeah. I know all these ATSs now have AI scoring. I think that needs significant improvement, because I've seen a lot of candidates zero number. And that's actually not correct when they're getting their rating. I'm still hesitant on some of the stuff when it comes on the recruiting side, but I don't believe that AI can conduct authentic screens and screen properly, maybe outside of technical, just a little bit, to replace recruiters or even sales professionals and stuff like that. I think it has a long way to go in that regard. I just don't really see it ever happening.
No, I don't. I think everyone got really, and myself included, everyone just got so excited at one point. Oh, we could do this, we could do it. And I did a video about it the other day. In theory, you should be able to do that, but the theory and the reality are just two different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also as well, I think people outside recruitment would just never understand the stuff that we all get up to. With stuff that happens, it's crazy. Yeah, cool. So circle back. So that's like a note taker.
Note taker, yeah. It's fantastic. There's different ones out there, Otter and Granola and stuff, but circle back is my preference. And I use it on all my screens. It's great. And it's easier to have that recording synced with your ATS for documentation rather than just manually note taking. I'm just present. I'm not writing anything down. I'm just having a conversation with you. It's going to take word by word what I'm saying. And I'm just going to use that. And then people can see how the call went and see how questions were answered. And I think that's great.
Yeah. I think two things it's great for is that what you just said, the note-taking piece, and making communication more concise as well. I could write an email out and just say, make that more punchy for my client, please. And it can just get it down. I could never get it that concise, basically. So good.
So good. Yep, I completely
So good.
agree. We're starting to see more AI in the blockchain space with tooling and stuff. So I'm curious to see how that progresses. You're seeing other organizations build like Solidity scanners. I think there's Solidity Scan, which is a AI tool for static analysis. And yeah, I'm curious to see like where things progress on the AI front with tooling.
Yeah, yeah. It'll probably just be like there'll always be the need for the manual element, but it will just speed things up and make
Oh
smart
yeah,
contract auditors more efficient. Bit like the recruitment technology is just going to speed us up and make us better at our jobs, I think.
absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it's exciting times for sure, but you got to stay up to date on these things to
Yeah.
be effective for your organization in the recruitment side.
Yeah, cool. I'm going to flip over to the market and candidates. So I know you're always doing a fair bit of hiring yourself. What do you like? What don't you like? Ideally, what's like the ideal profile that you're looking for? Is there any kind of do's or don'ts that could help the listeners if there's anyone out there on the market that's struggling or wants to apply for Trailer Bits maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, because we have a number of positions open right now. I just posted a marketing manager role for go-to-market team this morning. That's a brand new position focused on blockchain and crypto. So we have about like 10 to 12 positions currently being hired for here at Trilobit. So I'm extremely busy, getting a lot of candidates. I think the criteria for looking for top applicants for a company like Trilobit is when I'm looking at the resumes, right? I want to know what you built, what you've broken, and what you're passionate about. Those are kind of like the three things I'm assessing. I'm not looking for specific keywords. I can tell based on the resume how they're going to align with that specific position when they apply. So like seeing tools that they've created that benefit, our clientele, whether that's an open source security tool, you built a static analyzer, you built a fuzzer, and then on the security engineering front, like you're doing VR, you're doing reverse engineering, you're breaking something, like all that stuff is like really important for me to see. And then the passion is, are you speaking at conferences? Are you doing like CTF write-ups? What is your involvement in the software security space to show that you're bettering the industry as well as bettering yourself? So that shows like continuous learning, that shows continuous development. That's stuff that we crave for here at Trilobit. So like when I'm conducting the screen, a lot of the times I'm asking, if we gave you no direction here at Trilobit, what would you work on? That's like really telling, I'm really interested in large language models and I want to explore adversarial attacks and data poisoning and model poisoning and all these things. Cool. Tell me more about that. Let's talk about it. And then other questions that I go about and ask in regards to hiring here at Trilobit is when I talk about continuous learning and development, like what are you doing outside of your job that is bettering yourself? So are you going to DEF CON? Are you going to Camless for this week is a big AI security conference? You're going to go to SmartCon in a couple of weeks. Like how are you developing yourself to learn more about the industry and the potential attacks that are occurring on a daily basis and how you better yourself? All that stuff goes a really long way. Look at the resume and conduct the screen. It's really more understanding the personality of the individual and what they're passionate about and how they're going to be able to make an impact for Trilobit and what problem can they solve for us that we're potentially not addressing. All that stuff goes a long way.
Okay, mate. So what have you built? What have you broke? What are you passionate about? What stuff have you done in the community? Again, speaking community-led, CTF write-up community-led. And yeah, what are you doing before and after work to keep on top of things, and what are you doing outside work? If you could do whatever you want when you came here, what would you do? I bet that's quite an, because that's a really open question as well.
It really is, yeah. And people see all different sorts of things, right? Some people be like, I'm an application security professional, so, I'll do some web pen tests. Okay, that's more like, not table stakes, but that's your job. I want to know, what would you want to go explore and focus on that could be beneficial to yourself and to the organization? I think that goes a long way for the types of people we hire for here at Trilobit and what makes Trilobit so unique and special. Is you're really trying to find people that do this work more as a passion rather than a job.
Yeah, I think you need to. If you're anyone that, I'm sure you're the same, but all the candidates I know that are exceptional, like they're living and breathing it, and they've had seasons in their life where they've just absolutely gone like into monk mode and nothing else has mattered. And yes, you can't do that all the time, but it's much more than just a job.
In blockchain too, what I focus on is Patrick Collins has a training program, and there's damn runnable DeFi, Ethernet, capture the Ether. You have all these public contests that you can participate in, whether that's through Cantina or Sherlock. All those things, if you're doing that on your own, and I'm looking at the public reports, I'm looking at the findings, seeing if you're identifying criticals, highs, reviewing the writing, all that stuff is crucial to potentially get a job here at Trilobit, as well as like you've read Trilobit's audit reports, you've used our tools. All that stuff goes a really long way in the process, because you'd be surprised how many people I ask like, how'd you find Trail of Bits? And they go, I found the position on LinkedIn, or someone shared it with me, but they are actually not familiar with us. I think it's understandable because we're a small company, but we have much more like impact in these various sectors. So there should be an expectation that you're familiar with us in some way, whether you're reading our blogs or working with our tools or saw someone present at a conference. Like we just had a bunch of people at Token 2049 from our crypto team. Like all that stuff goes a really long way to show that you're engaged with our organization and you understand like our impact and what we care about at the end of the day.
Yeah. With you guys, they shouldn't be coming on the call saying they don't know, because there's no excuse. It's so easy to know a lot about you.
It's not hard to do a few minutes of research to come prepared for the call.
No, it's not. I did a video about this as well, Carter, because I refer to it as like job search fatigue. I think sometimes even when someone's quite a good candidate, maybe they've been on the market for longer than they thought they were going to be, they've maybe progressed, got to final at a couple of stages with a couple of companies, and it's not gone their way. And then they just almost get job search fatigue where they're just not preparing for interviews and stuff like that. Because I get that as well. And I've got some clients that are really well known, and I'm coming on the call and I'm like, okay, so what do you know about X, Y? And they're like, I've not heard. I'm like, even if you've not heard of them, like, these are a really well-known business. So even if you've never heard of them before, okay, fair enough, but you should have checked them up. I'm calling it job search fatigue. I think sometimes people, and they shouldn't let it get the better of them, but I think sometimes they've been on the market for a while and they're just almost losing the belief they can actually get a job again.
I think this past year alone, it's been very hard for a lot of people, not just in the security space, but in general, just in the job market. We're seeing a lot less opportunities being created based on the job openings report that happens every month. And I think when you're applying to these jobs, you think it's going into a black hole and no one's reviewing it. And I think that's true in some cases, not ours. I review every resume that comes in here. I do it every morning for most of our positions. And then I'll go back and look at others. There's so many candidates that I can only look at so many resumes a day, but I look at every single one that comes through because it's really important to be able to get feedback to candidates. I went through about 30 people before this call for a research and engineering position to go through, set up 3 screens already for candidates for later this week, early next week. We have to go and do that manual review of candidates because you could be missing out on candidates, but I can understand that there's a lot of people reaching out. They want to get a job. They're applying to a number of different positions. And I think it's our job as recruiters to be better at that, to be able to provide like quick feedback, at least in a timely manner, to be like, hey, I'm going to get in touch with you within the next week about whether or not we proceed, because it's only fair to them to like, they're spending time in applying to a position. And I think it's just a really tough market. And I can understand a lot of the frustration that some of these people have with recruiters as well. So
I can, mate. On 10, 12 recs, like I know what that's like. That's a lot of work to screen everyone properly and get a really good feel for who's great for that position, get back to everyone. Like on 12 recs, that's a lot of work, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. The ML researcher fellowship position that we just posted, 140 candidates in 24 hours. So I got to go through, so you applied, but it's a lot of candidates. And I try to spend the right amount of time reviewing each resume, right? You can tell whether or not they're going to be a fit. Some people apply and they have no relevant background to the position. So those are quick, but we have questions that we require them to ask and stuff. So I want to see what their answers are. Maybe their resume is not telling the entire story, but then sometimes the application questions, you're going to get a bunch of dots to the answers. And those are quick no's. If you're not going to spend the time answering the questions, I can't really move you forward, even though your resume might be aligned with the position. Because there's an expectation there too that, okay, we're going to try to get a better understanding of who you are and then do the call, and then we'll follow up on that and dive a little bit deeper and determine whether or not this position's a potential fit for yourself and vice versa.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So you get decent people applying, but they just try and skip that part of the process out, and it just basically, I
have a funny story real quick. We had a candidate that applied the other day, and they must have just copied and pasted from ChatGPT, because on each answer to the question, it said ChatGPT said for each question. I was like, you didn't think to delete that? But they might have been moving so fast that they're just copy and pasting, done, moving on to the next job. But when you see that, it's, oh, come on.
No, it is. It's all just like like I say this to the team here all the time, slow down to speed up. Like we get so used to everything just being click, click, done for us. And you can easily start falling into that trap. And I think people need to slow down. Is there anything else people do, Carl, that could help people? Anything they do on the good side or the bad side that could help folks listening that are on the market?
Yeah, I would say on the bad side, I'm still getting the 4+ page resumes, which it's just too much. I really think nowadays, depending on the amount of years of experience, you can do 1 to 2.
Yeah.
1, I would say, is like less than, let's say, 7 years. I think you can put enough each job, we should only have, let's say, max 5 bullet points, or around 5 to 7. Maybe I should say that 5 to 7 bullet points, no more. If you have 3 bullet points, I think that's too little. So just show what you've led, what you built. I don't like seeing things like I assisted with, I helped with, nothing like that. It's always want to be able to see the initiative of the job that you've had in these previous roles. I don't care about format in terms of like education at the top, certifications, wherever. At the end of the day, I'm really just looking for what you've built and some of the personal projects you might have. And I think that goes a long way in identifying the right candidates. Education's great, but like we've hired people without 18 degrees here. And like I said, the passion and being able to see that, whether that's through a personal blog or these like public contests and CTF write-ups and even write-ups about these hacks that are occurring on a daily basis, like all that stuff, I really hold a value compared to some of the other more task-based job responsibilities, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, because I do think it's important to hear what you think on that, Carl, because I think the demand on the hiring, I think one of the biggest problems for job seekers, I think it's the volume of people on the market.
Yeah, there's so much.
That's the problem, because there is like you're hiring at the minute, like whether I'm thinking about companies that are using us at the minute, they're obviously hiring, but then there's loads of companies that I know that have used us in the past that just aren't using us at the minute because they're finding it quite easy to hire because of the volume of people on the market. So if people can just do a bit more than what everyone else does, like not taking shortcuts on the process, like not doing crazy stuff like copy and pasting out of ChatGPT, like that's like obviously like the fundamentals. But I think if people can just be a bit better than most, I think that will solve a big part of the problem. Because I'm seeing some companies where I'll go on the company and then I'll go back on them 4 or 5 months later and they've beefed up on their internal recruitment team. They've maybe hired 3 or 4 extra internal recruiters. And I'm like, and their adverts are like, all that. So I'm like, wow. And I can actually see people starting on the LinkedIn page. So they're not just posting adverts to build talent pools or anything like that, which I know some companies do. They're really going for it. So it's like some companies are really growing. So if you can stand out and just do things properly, you've got a decent chance.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. So I would say stay away from the AI generated responses to questions. We can tell if, with AI, especially when you like post, you can see when something's been AI generated because a lot of the language is, it's not X, but Y. Like that's a huge indicator. So you'll see that in some of the application questions where someone will be like, I don't just do this, I do that. And it's okay. That's an indicator that it could have been sent to ChatGPT or Claude or a different AI tool. And then with the bolding of letters in a resume, like that seems very like AI replacement related when it comes to like field text, where it's like a bunch of field text, they're going to match the resume to that job. And then it's going to just fill in. And then it's just like you have these bold terms of rep or PyTorch or like all these different technologies from AI. Same point blockchain, like it'll just have you Slither, Kitten, and Medusa bolded in one like bullet point of someone's job in blockchain. I'm like, what does that even mean? You're familiar with user terms, but it seems like they pulled it from the job description or somewhere else to generate their resume for them. And this is going to sound crazy too, but we talk about the fake candidates and stuff. This summer, even when I was on parental leave, the amount of fake candidates that applied to TrailerBits jobs saying that they worked at TrailerBits was wild. People saying that they already worked here, but applying to a TrailerBits role. I don't know how they're generating these resumes and blasting them off, but it's really unfortunate to see because it wastes a lot of our time and it's flooding jobs for candidates that really want to have a shot to work here, but there's so many candidates that it's bearing them to a degree, which is frustrating. I think it's more for the larger companies too, but like for us, we're still seeing hundreds and hundreds of candidates apply to our position though.
Yeah. These fake candidates need to step up their game. If they're saying they've already worked there.
Yeah, like working here currently, it's wild. I don't get it.
Yeah, you know the thing with the AI posters, it's interesting because it's like, I can see it now. I think there's a balance. Like we're talking about, you mentioned the word frameworks earlier, and I'm with you on that one. It's like, I can get a post together and I can get ChatGPT to do it. Then I can go back in and I can change stuff and I can give it some points and you can make it your own. But when it is just thrown out there and there's been no attempt to make any balance or blend it, I find it hard to read the whole post when I know that it's just been thrown out.
Oh yeah, especially if there's an emoji in front of each thing. If there's an emoji for each thing, that is AI generated.
But a lot of people just leave it in. Have you noticed? A lot of people do just leave it in, so they're just blatantly just throwing stuff. I don't know.
I know. I think if they see other people doing it, there's like this natural acceptance to do it. I don't know why, but I look at it in a negative light, which is unfortunate because when I see it, I'm automatically like turned off and moving on to the next thing.
Maybe some of it's personal preference, just how you feel about it, but I'm the same. And look, I was one of those people that was getting so excited about Carter at the start. And there is still some really good use cases, and AI in general is like, just, it is great as a whole. But yeah, I am almost like going back to, now let's just do things properly because people do appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. They do. And especially in recruiting, where I do think recruiting is about relationships. And I stand by that. And it's not about a numbers game. It's not about, I've reached out to 300 different candidates and this is like my metrics here. I think if you're a really strong recruiter, especially in a space like cybersecurity, you have developed not just a reputation, but like you have built relationships with the community that is able to help you be able to not just fill positions, but find the right talent, do networking, do referrals, because great talent knows other great talent, right? So being able to post a block team position, but then also reach out to my friends in the space, being like, hey, I know you're not in the market, but do you happen to know anyone that would be a good fit for this? Rather than just sending all these cold emails on LinkedIn to people or on Telegram or these Slack groups. I think it's really good to have these relationships because it makes yourself better. And I guess what I'm trying to say is having to be relationship based allows companies to grow in the right way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. And I just think with all the noise out there, it's just going more and more the way that you've just described. Like I've even had a few scenarios recently where I've been reaching out to candidates that I know really well. And I'm like, God, why are they ignoring me? So I've just picked up the phone and I've gone, hi, Joe. He's honest, Tom. I didn't even see your messages come through on LinkedIn because I get so many. And like, instead of like 5 messages, I'm like, I've done something to upset him because like, I know him pretty well and he's like completely blanking me. And then, you get on the phone and it's, no, I've stopped looking at my inbox because he's too busy. It's like, okay, cool.
Oh, yeah. I just had to turn my X account back to allow just for DMs because the posting I just had the other day, everyone's saying DMs are not open, but I get so many DMs on X every day that I couldn't manage all of them and I can't have proper conversations with everyone. So I had to turn them off, but then I don't want other candidates to miss out on contacting me. So I had to open it back up. And already this morning, I got 10 DMs from all these different individuals showing interest in Trail of Beds. And I'm trying to manage those conversations, but it's really hard to manage all of that.
Yeah. I've not seen any for X or Twitter, but I've seen some for LinkedIn where you can bolt something onto your inbox, which is meant to solve the problem. Yeah. And I've heard a couple mentioned on recruitment podcasts for LinkedIn inboxes, which are meant to be pretty good. If I can remember the name, I'll send it to you after.
Oh, send it to me.
Yeah, I've heard. Because, I don't think these LinkedIn inboxes or X inboxes were designed for this much traffic when they originally.
No, I don't think so either.
Cool, mate. You've given us loads, Carl, to help job seekers. Is anything else that you could think of that would help people? Is there any ways that you like to be approached or don't like to be approached? You've given us loads.
I'm fine with when I post a position on the various social media channels, like I'm fine with people reaching out to me via DM. I think that's another way to get in contact with me. But I don't really have any sort of preference of reaching out. I think biggest thing for me is when I'm hiring for positions is that I'm going to reach out to my network. I'm going to obviously get the DMs. I'm going to get people applying to the position. And then I'm going to do my best job to give them the proper attention. So I'm reviewing everything. I'm being responsive to them. And then hopefully we're able to fill these positions and get the right people an opportunity to work at Trail of Beds. But to stand out, I've had people send me a number of different things. You stood out to me because you did a video recording on LinkedIn I've never seen on the messaging side. And I think it's a really unique way to stand out. So I will say there's different methods like that. It will definitely get my attention because I will listen to it. And then since you take the time to do that, I will respond.
By the way, the thing on the resume with the 1 page or the 2 page, you can ask 10 different recruiters and get 5 or 6 different answers.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think the 1 pager, because I actually don't get many 1 pager resumes, especially on the more senior end. People tend to put stuff over like 1.5. But when you do get a 1 pager, it's like, oh, sweet. That's not like, it is nicer. Like, when we're busy, like, everyone just wants everything to get to the point. When you're operating in the same, for everyone listening as well, like, when you're in the same space all day, every day, recruiting similar roles, like, you can really quickly tell whether someone's on the right track. So if you've got it on 1 page, it's just massively helpful. Like, cool. All right, Carl. So I used to ask what book has had the most positive impact, but it can be book, it can be podcast, just anything that you've consumed that's made you the best version of yourself, mate, that could help the listeners.
Yeah. Let me see here. I just got a book the other day. I think I'm just through the first chapter, but it's called The Rising Leader Handbook. It's by Mark Silverman. The reason I got it, I believe it was listed as one of our reading resources within Trail of Bits. Trail of Bits has a bunch of learning and development material, but we have a kind of like a library of books that people should potentially pick up and read. It could add a lot of value to the person trying to grow themselves professionally. In this book, in particular, it's really meant for individuals that are considered like high achievers. I'm not trying to boast myself, but I'm trying to get myself into a position where I can be an effective leader and be able to run with initiatives and get executive feedback and buy-in to the projects that I'm working on, as well as being a good leader to my peers. I'm here to help. I'm here to provide feedback. I'm here to get you over the finish line with whatever you're trying to accomplish. After 10 years, I'm trying to get myself to that next stage as the head of talent here at Showbiz. In this book, I think, based on what I've already initially read about it being more about you rather than all these different metrics you need to hit to become a leader or manager, I think that's going to be valuable to me. So I'm already enjoying the book right now. But,
cool. So that's a lot of stuff on how to communicate with C-suite and stakeholders and stuff.
Yes, exactly. But it's really more about focusing on the individual to how they can put themselves in positions to be able to take on that additional responsibility and being comfortable with that and not being afraid and diving into the deep end, so to speak. So it's something for me where, Showbiz is the first company that's ever given me exposure to executive leadership on a daily basis. Never had that before. Dan talks to me like every other day here, which in my previous roles, I've probably spoken to the CEO once, if not at all. And that could be somewhat frightening. And you don't want to say the wrong thing, to present yourself in the right manner. Over the years, I've gotten myself to a point where I think I can do this and I can accept with failing if I am running the project not in the right direction that the leadership team would hope for. Yeah, I'm very excited. I think this book's going to be great. I've had executive coaching as of late too, which has been fantastic, but I'm really trying to get myself to that next stage of my career because I don't want to be a recruiter forever. I love recruiting. I think it's a part of my identity. And I think anything I do in life will be some sort of recruiting. Years from now, let's say if I wanted to start a company, I'm going to have to recruit people to the organization. But there's other items that I need to focus on and other skills that I need to grow and adopt. And I'm trying to do that for myself.
Yeah, no, cool, man. Like, you're right, because it's a hell of a skill set. If you're starting your own business, you're definitely recruiting. If you're leading a team, you're recruiting. And I know one of the biggest reasons people accept offers is the hiring manager, which is typically one of the leaders in an organization or the founders. Yeah, always recruiting. So yeah, it's not about skill set to refine.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. But I love recruiting. I thought about starting like a staffing agency at one point, and I think life takes you in so many different directions. And I'm just excited where I'm at right now, and I'm making an impact and providing a lot of value to Trailbits, and Trailbits has provided a ton of value to me. So I'm excited to see what's ahead. I'm excited to continue growing, and we'll see where everything takes me.
Cool, mate. Wicked. So Rising Leader Handbook, yeah?
Yeah, the Rising Leadership Handbook. That's correct.
Rising Leadership. Cool. Wicked.
By Mark Silverman. Yeah.
Wicked, mate. Wicked. We'll get it in the show notes. But all good, Carter, mate. It's nice that we've done this with no technical issues, mate.
I know.
We nailed it and we're all sorted. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was great. I'm glad I was at the library this time and having my own private room and all that. And I'm glad we were able to do this again. And it's always great connecting with you and talking all things recruiting. And I really enjoyed it. I'd love to come on again.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate. Thanks again, mate. And good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it.